Coffee is a big part of my day. Not only does it help me get through the morning, but I just really love good coffee. Trade is a subscription service that brings great coffee from indie roasters all over the country right to your door. Tell Trade what you like typically. Single origins, blends, dark or light roasts, or even how you make your coffee, and they'll recommend the right beans for you. Or you can choose from over 450 different coffees and build your own queue. Then you select how often you'd like your coffee delivered, whether that be 7 days, 10 days, 14 days. Shipping's always free. If you find that you have too many beans and you need to skip a delivery, you can do that. Running out sooner than you think and need an order sooner, you can do that as well. No charge. I've done it myself a couple times. It's great to know that I have that flexibility. Go to unitedwedrink.com/trade and get started with Trade and enjoy 30% off your first month. That's unitedwedrink.com/trade. The opinions and statements in this podcast do not represent those of the host's employers, co-workers, family, or imaginary friends. Now enjoy the show.
Happy hour, more like amateur hour. Welcome to United We Drink.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another new episode of the United We Drink podcast right here on unitedwedrink.com, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever fine podcasts are found. My name is Mike Urevich. It is the holiday season. I got Kevin. I got Tim. I was going to call you guys elves, but that would have been mean because I didn't even call myself Santa. So that was just, how about this? We're all fucking elves. And
I don't know who you. I don't want to know who you're fucking. Sorry. I don't want to know what's going on with your sex life. I don't know why you went down that road. I am staring out my window at all my wonderful Christmas lights that are up, and I'm in a good mood right now. Things in some other ways I'm struggling, but in the Christmas spirit, I have these windows open looking at these blue and white Christmas lights, and I'm just feeling it. So, Mike, you go fuck your elves. I'm going to look at my Christmas lights.
Well, apparently last episode, I implied that we were going to murder our guests like we do turkeys for Thanksgiving. So it just fits right now that I make some offhanded comment that I didn't really mean.
No, first of all, way to go on the traditional Christmas colors of Hanukkah with blue and white there, Kevin. Perfect Christmas lights. So my daughter and I we have a you can probably see over my shoulder our meager Christmas decorations. More to come. So I'll probably be decorated for Christmas about January 5th, I think is when I'll finally finish decorating.
Better late than never.
Right?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, or really early on 2026. I'm stuck. I'm so far stuck in the past that I still expect Mike to say Stitcher when he's saying where you can find our podcast. That's how behind the times I am. By the way, I will be selling cassette tapes of our podcast out of the trunk of my car.
Oh, you're bootlegging?
Yeah.
You got any fish from Seattle in 2014?
No. Well, and that's the thing is I'll be selling these things as this isn't the studio version. This is the live recording of United We Drink. So it's very special, right? I mean, if I bill it as the live recording, which technically that's what we do, but.
It's all the stuff that Mike cuts, all the terrible rants we go on and the offensive things that we say. I mean, we say a lot of offensive things that make the show, but think about the things that don't.
Frankly, honestly, the things that don't, sometimes like our banter before and after the podcast is usually our best material. Like United We Drink After Dark would be a better podcast, I think.
I think we should keep pushing that narrative. We should keep pushing that narrative, as in, like, there's there's better things to come, guys. Just keep listening, and maybe eventually we'll start recording the good stuff.
Well, that's when we have a Patreon. I mean, we've got like, didn't we find out we have like 7 people that are 4 people or more than one person that were actually their favorite podcast? More than just Kevin's dad.
We are the #1 podcast for 7 people on Spotify, and I'm going to make a wager that at least half of those we are the only podcast that they listen to. So
that could be the case.
Which sucks because I set up 9 dummy accounts that are subscribed only to United We Drink, so I'm not sure how those even came up there. They must literally be getting all like the dummies have become sentient and have started to listen to Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend or something like
that. We're not even #1 in the fake people that Tim created. I mean, if there's anything that describes this year for us, it would be that.
That is the show to a T.
Yeah.
Tim, what are you drinking tonight?
So I have decided to bust into my absolute favorite. This might be one of my all-time favorite cheap wines. This is the Monte das Promessas. I'm not going to try to say it with a Portuguese accent. I have a lady friend who is from Brazil, and she could probably pronounce this a lot better than I could because all of my Portuguese comes with a Spanish accent, which is not how you pronounce it at all. But it is literally, it's under $10. And it's one of my all-time favorite red blends. I do like Portuguese red blends. I really like the kind of earthy, almost spicy notes. This is like I don't know. They don't say. It's like Cab Syrah and like probably 3 other grape varieties I've never heard of. But for under $10, I would put it up. This is one of those wines where you always see people doing like a blind tasting and they can't tell the $10 from $100 bottle. This is one I would absolutely put up there. Kevin, I don't know your familiarity with Portuguese wines.
I'm asking. I want to see the label. Okay, I have to keep an eye out for that if I see it.
It literally it is like 9 at my local liquor store. It's like $9.87 or something like that, something stupid. But I am in love with this wine. The last like 3 times I've gone to buy a wine, this one always makes its way into my basket.
So I will go next, and I do have a quick little story that I think you guys will appreciate. So when I was working at Cafe Luna Rosa back in the day, when I was a wine steward, nothing to do with wine, but you mentioned Portuguese and Spanish. There was a manager, and we had a Brazilian. We had a lot of people from all over the world that worked there, right? And we had someone there that was from Brazil, and there was a new person that started that only spoke Spanish, and the manager looked at the Brazilian person and said, "Can you tell me what they're saying?" And the person from Brazil looked and just, I don't speak Spanish. And the manager laughed, like thinking, well, you have brown skin. So, and I've heard you say words that I don't understand. So you must be speaking Spanish in this person's mind. And he goes, and the guy goes, so he kind of doubled down on it. And the guy's like, "I'm from Brazil. I speak Portuguese." And the person went, "Same thing." And I think it was like 22 at the time, and I even knew that wasn't correct. But anyway, that was I love that. That just, if that doesn't scream America, nothing else does. So
yeah, go. No, I was gonna say, like at work, we were even talking about how the British call cookies biscuits and something else is gravy and something like we don't even. Like, I don't understand why the English don't know how to speak the English language, frankly. But even within one language, we barely have mutual intelligibility. So, yeah.
100%. So I am drinking my Celebration. So I will tell you a quick story. I won't just go into how amazing this beer is because Mike does it every year and he's right. But, Mike, you will be interested in this. I had to go to 5 different stores to find this. None of the Publix locally had it. Sprouts didn't have it. Whole Foods didn't have it, right? So I went from store to store. I then called the old Greenwise Publix, which usually has a better craft selection, and called, and they also have a liquor store. And I called the liquor store, and the person said, yes, we have it. So I was like running around doing errands. So I made a special trip over there. They said they had it in the grocery store and the liquor store. So I went to the grocery store first because I had a few things to pick up. Couldn't find it. I was like, well, maybe it's on an end cap somewhere. So I asked somebody. They looked at me like I had a third eye. Then I went to the liquor store to talk to the guy who said that they had it. First, I looked in the cooler, didn't have it. He goes, no, we have it. Walks over and points to Hazy Little Thing. I said, no, those are different words. Hazy Little Things is a group of words. Celebration's one. But to this poor guy, he just thought any Sierra Nevada beer was the one Sierra Nevada beer because he's used to Budweiser. So I finally found it at Fresh Market by my house and called up and got someone on the phone and said, I'm calling to see if I have a beer, Sierra Nevada Celebration. He goes, yes. I said, wait a minute. I'm saying Sierra Nevada, the seasonal beer Celebration. And he goes, yes, sir. I know the beer. We have it in 6-pack, 12-ounce cans. It's right here for you. And I was like, you are the man. So Allie went and picked up a 6-pack for me for Thanksgiving. I picked up a second one just recently, went to the same store. They now have my business. I will go there until this beer is no longer there. And that's all I have to say about that.
I figured you'd go to like the hardware section where the buckets were, and maybe that's where the beer is supposed to
be. Only in 5-gallon buckets, yeah. Bucket of beer.
Which, by the way, we texted about that earlier. It's not Costco, it's Sam's Club, which means I will have no ability to get that because I don't think that there are any open around me anymore.
I was hoping it was Menards. When I saw until I saw the signage in the back, I was literally hoping it was like at Menards, like right next to
we don't even have Menards down here.
Or like Home Depot.
So I am drinking Celebration as well. I want to piggyback on what Kevin was saying. This beer was so incredibly hard to find this year, like harder than normal. Like 5 years ago, every Publix had this in their seasonal rotation. None this year. I used Sierra Nevada's Beer Finder to find places around us. No Whole Foods. At the beginning of last week, only one Total Wine of the 1, 2, 3, 4 in this county had any. I texted friend of the show, Ed Roberts, going, what the fuck? And he told me he said that they were getting orders that week, that the one that already had it had pre-orders in and none of the other stores did. No Whole Foods, no Sprouts. I found this eventually a couple weeks ago at a small little indie grocer, next to the Publix that I typically shop at. And they bought 12 packs of cans and cut them in half and sold them as 6 packs. Like the most small gas station type thing to do. And
brilliant.
So when I went in there a couple weeks ago, they had two 12 packs turned into 4 6-packs. I bought 2 at that time. I went in today and there was 1 left. So I basically bought 3/4 of their order of Celebration because someone must have bought the other one. And the funny thing is I took it up to the register and it wouldn't ring up. And they're like, can you go check what the price tag says? I'm like, all right, go back. And I actually see in the space where it said Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing. So I'm like,
it's a common problem.
Like, all right, it's the price of that. So that's what I'm going to tell them. But
I think the idea of 3/4 of their just meant that you took 4 cans and you poured out 75% of each can or something like that, where you weren't taking whole cans, but you were just opening every single can and pouring it into like a bladder.
Or just drinking it on site. Drinking it on site and leaving the rest. Tim,
this bit's for you, sir.
Mike, I know Mike a little bit better, and we spent a lot of time together over the years, so I know how much he loves this beer. I think, Tim, you've mentioned that you like this beer as well. Maybe not as much as Mike and I do. Are you as big a fan of Celebration as we are?
So I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but there was one year, years back, where my friends and I used to get together for opening day of baseball, right?
You did tell this story.
Oh,
but
yes.
And we went out to a bar, and Celebration was on tap there, and we didn't know, we didn't think it'd been sitting for that long, right? Did they find a keg and back? What was the story behind that? And so we tried it. We're like, we just have to try it, right? Why is this on for opening day of baseball? And it was still brilliant. It was still amazing. And I make jokes about I don't want old IPAs, especially something that is supposed to be fresh, right?
Yeah, a fresh hop beer.
Yeah, and that's why I think all three of us can't stop raving about Sierra Nevada and always put them in the top 5 breweries for us all time, as much as we respect their ability to make good, consistent, long lasting just it's great beer that lasts forever. The quality is always there, and that beer, I have not had it yet this year. No, I just lied to you guys. I have had one this year. It's one that never disappoints.
So 2 more things to say about this until we transition into our awards, which are talking about some of the best.
We swear this isn't the Sierra Nevada celebration episode that we have threatened you with before.
But I did want to mention that I've drinking this beer for the first time this year. I was thinking this is a top 5 IPA, period, end of story. Not top 5 season releases, but top 5 IPA for me all time, without a doubt. And 2, I went ice skating for the first time in my life. I'm 44 years old, never been on ice skates before. Took my son ice skating with a close family friend. It was great. It was really cool. And the ice rink had Celebration on draft. And I said, I'm going to bow out about 10 minutes early than you guys, because I'm going to go have one of those on draft while I can, because I have not seen it on draft in forever. So that's a seasonal story and a celebration story all in one, which I loved.
Now I have to add a celebration draft story because a local favorite of ours in the family, it's a brew pub and great restaurant, Dixie Bar and Brewery. They always have Celebration on tap. They've already gone through their keg. I've had 4 pints, I believe, in 2 visits there over the last couple of weeks. They had 2 kegs of it last season, and I don't remember how many pints I had of it there. But I kept on saying to the owner, Rachel, how much I loved them having it on tap. All of a sudden, right before Christmas last year, someone goes, Rachel dropped something off for you, and they brought it to our Christmas party, and it was Celebration socks that she had gotten for me. And they are now my holiday socks. So Celebration, always bringing people together.
He's not changing them until after the Christmas season.
Don't tell them that. They don't need to know that. All right. So going into the actual topic of the show, more Celebration talk. No, we're going to do, this is our last episode of the year 2025, and we're going to do something a little different than we ever have. We're going to do awards. And in typical United We Drink fashion, these probably will make no sense to anyone but us. So we've concocted some categories, and most of them I think are going to be great. And the person who nominates the category will give their award away. We'll have a little banter about them. We'll talk about it a bit. And then another person will do a an award and so on, and we'll kind of rotate through it. Not everyone has the same amount of awards that they're giving out. It's just going to be, we're just going to flow through this. It's a vibe. Is that did I say that right, kids? Did I say that right?
I think Tim and I are both older than you, so I don't think there's any kids here. So no, I just want to point out, like, oftentimes the awards, like, we'll come up with like 10 awards and we'll all talk about nominees and vote for them. This is not that. We literally came up with our own awards that we wanted to give out, and it's our own preferences, and they're also so specific because we are geographically locked to a certain degree. Like, there's beers that we just don't get, and there's just life gets in the way. Like, none of us, I don't think, are like trying all the brand new releases. No one's trading for beer anymore. So by the way, if we give an award to someone and you're like, well, have you thought of this brewery? The answer is no. No, we did not. So I would encourage anyone who thinks that we're wrong. First of all, you're correct. We are wrong. But secondly, tell us what you think. What would your awards be for all the ridiculous and completely normal categories that we come up with here?
I'm going to say, go ahead, Mike.
I want to add real quick that if you are a maker of beer and you are unhappy that we haven't had your beer and haven't said anything about your beer, please send it to us at 1141 South Rogers Circle, number 5, Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay, there's no way you have the address of Barrel of Monks just in the top of your head. Did you just Google search that real quick?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Yes, hey, by the way, yes, everyone send me beer and I'll let these guys know if I get it, which I will never get it. And then that's another reason for me to get new beers for Old Favorite Friday.
But go ahead, Tim.
I already forgot what I was going to say. So it was that important, just so you know.
All right. So, Kevin, why don't you kick us off and show us how this works?
So I want to make sure. So you want to kind of jump around a little bit. You don't want just to go through my list. You want me to just kind of give one and then go jump one. Okay, we'll jump around.
Might as well jump.
So by doing that, you'd think I would go through my list and come with some kind of like a logical thing that would be like the best one to start with. No, I'm just going to go with the first one on my list. So this award is called "You Can Stop Making Variants Now, Please." And it's a very nice request. Now, there are several breweries that are making way too many variants of their beers. And the one I'm going with is a brewery that I really love, and a brewery that has foundational beers to my craft beer experience. But this line is god-awful, and that is the Victory Monkey series of beers. Golden Monkey is a perfectly cromulent American triple. It is a beer that a lot of people try for the first time as a Belgian style triple, and it is good. I think it's an important beer for the beer culture in the U.S. It's not a great triple in the traditional sense at all, but the sour monkey and the berry monkey and the hazy monkey, and I've tried several of them, and tried is the word before I either poured them down the drain or just decided to give them away to, I don't know, strangers to take them off my hands. That is not a series that needs to continue. Does anyone else have a series of beers that they want to comment on?
The monkey one is one that I can kind of back you on, as much as I too love Victory. Like
they're Prima Pils, Dirtwolf.
Prima Pils, one of the best American-made German pilsners in the world.
Agreed.
Dirtwolf, one of my favorite double IPAs. Even like what's the Darkstorm, their Imperial Stout, Storm King.
Storm King. Yes, I don't love Storm King. It's too hoppy for me, but I do respect it for what it is. I do. I think Victory is fantastic. I just think this line of beers is completely misses the mark for me. And once again, these are personal awards. that we are each given. And I will actually throw a little curveball for you. One of the lines that I thought about for this was from my favorite brewery. The hazy cosmic, whatever.
Little Things, yeah.
The Little Things series. I don't think I need that many more of those. I think they're all fine. I just don't know if I need a lot more of those. I like the Torpedo series a lot more than I like the Little Things series. And as much of that, and I there's not a single one of those beers that I think is bad, but there's not a lot of those beers that stand out to me and I'm like, oh, I need more of that. I'm just like, oh, okay, we get it. We get it, Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, you stole my answer because that was going to be exactly my answer. Was that I just got done praising Sierra Nevada, but
we got to bring back down to earth now.
But I mean, I would agree, right? They have a hazy little thing and a juicy little thing, right? Like
they have a big little thing,
big little thing, cosmic little thing.
Yeah, and I would agree, especially because I think one of my biggest issues with the hazy IPA trend over the last, what's it been now, 8 years, is how I feel like that's driven a lot of sameness, right?
Yeah.
And so to now try to take, the hazy and the juicy and all of that, it's like, to me, are they different? Sure. Are they appreciably different? Not enough. Really,
No.
Not enough. Now, probably smart on them because there's probably someone who's like, I love hazy IPAs, but I hate juicy IPAs. And someone's like, I love juicy IPAs, but I hate hazy IPAs. And both of them say that they are allergic to wheat. But yeah, I was going to say that is one where, again, they're fine beers. They're not bad beers, but do I need to have 7 variants? No, I really don't. Then again, I've always wanted to open a brewery that had the exact same beer on 7 taps with 7 different names and 7 different styles and 7 different descriptors on the menu and see if I could figure out, like, just from a marketing perspective, like what names and language and styles stood out, even though it's the exact same beer, and then like watch somebody buy a flight of 6 of the exact same beer, and then sit there and watch them as like, oh, I don't like this one as much as this.
You can't offer a flight. It gives away the game too quickly.
I
think it does.
I think it wouldn't. I mean, it would be the ultimate duff light, duff dry thing. I have half a mind to think that you could sit there and watch someone drink 4 of the exact same beer that you told them was 4 different beers, and you would get 4 different descriptions. I've always been tempted to do that. I think it would be fun, and it would be really interesting to kind of see which like marketing rises to the top. Which buzzwords ring the bells.
I want to throw out a quick small award for best use of the word cromulent to our own Kevin Abbott in that whole spiel. I meant to give that out sooner because I had to look up what that word even meant.
Well, you know where that comes from, right? It's a made up word from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah, so when I did Duff Light, Duff Dry, I was making another. We're already 2 Simpsons reference down.
Springfield makes up the word. Cromulent is just a word that's made up in Springfield, just like Embiggens from Jebediah Springfield.
A noble spirit embiggens even the smallest man. So yeah, like I've never heard that word. It's a perfectly cromulent word. Fair State actually made a beer called Cromulence.
Of course they did.
Back in the day, which I thought was brilliant, and I loved it. It's enough where it's, like I always kind of feel weird about like towing the intellectual property line or whatever, but that's enough where it's like it's a nod and it's certainly a wink to the people that get it, and everyone else just probably, I mean half the people probably don't know that it's not a cromulent word, but then also just the idea that you could name a beer anything at this point. But yes, I caught that right away. So we're 2 Simpsons reference in. Just like what 15 minutes of the podcast. Let's keep on dropping them.
Also, I do want to
one award in.
Cromulent is in Merriam-Webster.
I mean, is it like
it might be like because of that?
No, I think it is like truthiness from Stephen Colbert was actually added to the dictionary.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the etymology of that.
Here they do have it down here. The etymology of the word was introduced in Lisa the Iconoclast, an episode of The Simpsons, first aired in 1996.
Yes, starring Donald Sutherland.
Yes, absolutely.
Does it say that?
No, it doesn't.
The famous episode about Jebediah Springfield being a murderous pirate.
And he stole the silver tongue.
Okay, I was to go to a whole diatribe and more quotes from that episode. I'm not going to do that. Let's move on to the next category. Mike, you want to go next? You want to do a category?
Sure. I'm gonna, and I swear I'm not trying to. You'll see. I'm gonna call this award the "Take My Money" award, and
that's a Fry quote, by the way, not Simpsons, but it's Futurama.
It is. It's also the name of my newest dog, and we not Futurama, Fry. That's his name.
I thought it was "Take My Money" because he cost too much.
Well, his name was Fry at the place. His brother was Bender, and we just decided to keep Fry as his name because we also have a dog named Nugget. So we took it from being a Futurama reference and made him a fast food reference. So Take My Money award. This is a beer that I have wanted for years now. I probably will never get to have it because it's such a small quantity thing. But gained, I feel like, a lot of talk this year, and that is Selly drippings from Sierra Nevada. Are you guys familiar with Selly drippings?
No idea what that is.
Okay, so this is essentially a more amped up version of Celebration. So after they transfer, they rack out Celebration from their FVs where they dry hop from. They just leave the dry hop bags in the tank dripping and let it just keep on collecting the liquid that was soaked in the hops. And then they rack that off and they have Selly drippings. They only get like a few kegs worth out of it like each year, and they put it on for like 3 or 4 days at their tap rooms. And like, I just want to have this so badly. It's just this more resinous like version of Celebration.
Awesome.
It's like the devil's cut of what or fresh hop beer.
Yeah. That's super cool. I had no idea. I never heard of that before. That is awesome.
That's pretty clever. I would be curious, although I mean, not saying it probably wouldn't be great, but man, have you ever just had to have like just straight like just what is dripping out of the hops? I mean, it's pretty resinous and aggressive. I would be curious to know what that is like. That doesn't come across as astringent, but I'd give it a try.
It very well could, and everyone's just blowing smoke up their own asses because it's Sierra Nevada. But who knows? Like, if you have had, I know we have listeners in North Carolina around the Asheville area. So like, if you've had Selly drippings, like, hit us up and let us know what it really tastes like to you. Is there anything that you guys would say is like, shut up, take my money? Like,
nothing that rare. I mean, all the rare, super rare beers that I wanted to have back in the day, I had a chance to try. And there's nothing right now that I can think of that I just can't get my hands on that I like need. I've become a very basic bitch when it comes to that. Like, the beers that come to town for me are beers that I really appreciate and I look forward to. There are definitely some beers that are no longer in production that I want to get my hands on, and maybe some beers that are still in production that they don't come down here, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I would like to actually, if someone could find an old keg of Red Dog, shut up and take my money. I want to taste 20-year-old Red Dog. No, I'm with Kevin. You know, it's been a while since I've done like the bottle shares or looked into anything like that. I mean, I hadn't heard of Celly Drippings. God, I feel dumb saying Celly Drippings. That's not a name that I like. Yeah, no, I really can't think of anything unless, again, it is something that is just something I just haven't seen in forever. Yeah.
Okay.
My turn. And my category is favorite beer trend of 2025, and mine is a return of classic styles. Over the last 6-7 years, we've seen brewers fall back in love with Pilsner, and over the last year, I've seen a lot of breweries go back to making brown ales, making porters, making some of these beer styles that were kind of lost for a while in the Haze-Bro trend or in all of the other things. I've been seeing a lot. Cascadian IPA has been making a big comeback as of late. It has been fun to see some of these breweries make those styles that people were saying, "Oh, you can't make that. No one will buy it." I've seen an explosion, certainly here, but I've also noticed it on a national scale of some of those styles coming back, and it's been warming the cockles of my heart and even the subcockle region. Because it also means that some of my favorite beers, and 3 weeks ago was the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and so to remind myself of having the Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald Porter, it's been fun to see those styles come back, and letting people get back to getting past the kind of the burnout of everything tasting the same for a while. That's been kind of my exciting thing. I don't know if you guys have seen something similar down there, or if there's even some classic styles that you've been kind of excited to kind of explore again.
I've noticed on a more outside of Florida scale, like I feel like always looking at this market is so different than looking at the greater U.S. brewing market. Like I've noticed that too, Tim. Like I've seen a lot of revitalization of English beers, real ales, especially like mild and bitters. I've seen people brewing those who never would have brewed those for years. I've spoken at length of my love for milds on this show before. And like I even see people like brown ales. Yes, you have said that. I've seen people doing amber ales again, and just like I'm like, okay, amber ale. Where's the width? What at it? Oh, nothing. Like, okay,
where are you seeing these? Where are you seeing these beers?
Like breweries that I follow on Instagram that aren't in Florida. Like,
okay. I just wanted to make sure because I am so at a loss for any of this revitalization of classic styles in South Florida because I'm just not seeing them.
No, that's what I said. I said outside of Florida. Like I do not see it happening here. Like there, of course, are some breweries in this state who have made their names or not really made their names, but have attempted to make their names by doing that. Some have succeeded, like Berry House over in Tampa being an all lager brewery, and others haven't. And we've seen a lot of them close. But like I've noticed that from some of your bigger northeastern cities, your West Coast areas, Midwest, like, yeah. So it's cool to see that those styles are becoming, at least they're not powerhouses, but at least, you know what, I guess they're selling enough that they can get through a batch of them. So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I went into a brewery the other day, and there was actually 0 hazies on, and there were 2 West Coasts on, and I was blown away, and I wondered when I fell into a DeLorean and went back into time. But it has been something, like I said, I noticed around here, but I have, again, via social media and whatnot, I've seen it start to kind of get into other parts of the country where we are getting a little bit more of remembering that's you know, I'm not seeing a whole lot of wheat ales, but like remembering the old, like the early 2000s brew pub beer lineup, like you said, ambers and browns, like seeing those again. It's like they've kind of forgotten, and maybe it's just because maybe beer is having a retro phase. Uh, Something like
Beer
that.
is having a retro phase. You see a lot of branding being done to look like retro brands, like so. Yeah.
It's brew pub chic. It's coming back. We're going to do a porter, a brown ale, and just so you guys know, and we're going to do predictions in a future episode, I think. But I think by 2045, Belgian beers are going to come back. I'm banking on it. I'm just banking on it, guys. 2045, we're going to be golden.
Belgian golden, strong golden. Yes. Yeah, no, that's been kind of my favorite thing to see over the last year.
Okay, I'll jump in here next. So I think I have more awards to give out than others. So I might do a couple in a row here. We'll see how this works out. So on the heels of Mike's, this is the same but a little bit different. Please brew this again. Now we've seen in the last year or so, we have seen breweries like Sierra Nevada bring back a beer like Tumbler, which is, talk about brown ales, just a beautiful beer in a mixed 12 pack. There are legacy breweries in the United States that need to be, especially in this retro area where we're seeing different things around the country, maybe not in Florida, maybe never in Florida, but seeing people kind of craving those classic beers. So here's a brew I want to see, and I've been desperate to see again. Dogfish Head. You used to do like 10,000 amazing beers. There's now, if you go to the website, like 7 beers they do on a regular basis. Now, I could have gone with something like Chicory Stout, which I freaking loved. But the one I'm going to go with is Black and Blue. I've talked about it on this show before. It is a Belgian style ale, blackberries, blueberries. I cut my teeth on this beer. I love this beer so much. Please bring this back in a mix pack or something like that, because I want this beer again. And by the way, unlike Tumbler, which is just classic brown ale, which is just perfect, maybe my taste buds have moved on. Maybe I won't love it as much as I think I will. But this is a beer that I'm desperate for them to brew again.
Dogfish's fruit beer game was so good during those times. Like you talked about Festina Pesh on the last episode. Black and Blue, Red and White was another one. Fort,
raspberry Fort. Oh my God.
That was like 18% raspberry beer. I have this. This is a story about Kevin, because Kevin and I used to hang out at Coffee District, our local beer bar, very local to Kevin. He used to live like 5 steps away from it, and we used to hang out there. And I remember one time hanging out with you, sitting at the bar. It was probably during like karaoke or open mic night, and we're having a beer. We finished our beers, and you were like, "You want to split a Black and Blue with me?" I was like, "Sure." And you ordered a 750 of Black and Blue, and it was probably like a couple years old at that point already. And I just remember it was just such a fantastic beer. And man, so much Dogfish Head stuff. Not even the fruit beers. Like I loved Midas Touch. I loved. There was something else in the Ancient Ale series that I remember really liking, and I am spacing on it, but like Raisin Day Extra, Raisin Day Extra, like, I mean, Dogfish Head, just brew a bunch of your old beers. Like, do a variety pack like that, like what Sierra did. That would be fucking fantastic. Do all those ancient ales again.
Tim, you got anything for this?
I mean, I can't remember the last time I had something from Dogfish Head. One thing I'm thinking as we go through all of this is because of the hyper localization that happened in craft beer. Outside of War Pigs, you're almost never going to see a non-Minnesota craft beer on tap at a lot of bars here anymore, which is something I lament. And I can't remember the last time I even saw a Dogfish Head anything on tap. And if I do see anything in the liquor store, it's usually just some little variety pack or not much. It's not a whole lot. So I would be all about that. That's maybe a brewery that I would just, in general, like to maybe rediscover.
Honestly, can't remember the last time that I had one of their beers either. It was either like a 60 or a 90, but I don't know when.
I picked up the coffee version of Worldwide Stout last year, or maybe the year before. Man, it could have been the year before last. I don't know, and really enjoyed it. It was a really well made beer. Yeah, that's a brewery that I understand the simplification of your production schedule, but there were so many great things there, and we're now entering the era. And I think you talked about it a little bit, Mike, here, and we've touched about it in general. Is like there's a nostalgic period. And Tim talking about like the brew pub style beers, like we're now in the point where people like us who've been in this industry or around the orbit of this industry for 15, 20 years are now getting nostalgic for these old beers. It's the perfect time to bring them back and expose them to a whole new different group of people. And I'll jump out of my skin if you told me that the Dogfish Head mix pack of 4 of the beers I've wanted forever is in Stewart, I'll drive to Stewart. And by the way, that's like a couple hours away, right? Like I'll do that to get that beer, and I would not do that for anything else, right? So, not that anyone from any of these breweries listens to us, but I think this is the time to do it. I'm gonna piggyback on that because I said I have a few more awards I think than you guys do, and because we were talking about a fruit beer, blackberry, blueberry beer, I want to talk about an award of a beer that I should not have liked, and yet I really really liked it, and I picked up the Boulevard Neapolitan inspired ice cream 6-pack where they had a vanilla beer, a chocolate beer, and a strawberry beer. And you guys know that I kind of jump out of my shoes about, adjunct laden beers and think way too many of them are over the top and really not well done. The strawberry sour, the barrel-aged strawberry sour from Boulevard was surprisingly good. Strawberry is a really, really hard thing to do well. If you think about it, and maybe when most people think about strawberry flavor, they think about strawberry candy. I'm not thinking the actual flavor of real strawberry. Right? You're thinking about strawberry Jolly Rancher. You're not thinking about or a Skittle or something. I've worked with strawberries for years. They're notoriously fickle. You need a lot of them to get the flavor. You need something that's going to accentuate that flavor, and the malts and things of that nature are going to play into that to boost up the natural flavors that are there. And then doing that while making a non-milkshake smoothie bullshit beer and doing it barrel aged and doing it clean, and the beer actually looks beautiful and isn't this cloudy mess, but delivers on the fruit flavor and the sour aspect without being overly tart or not tart enough. It was really, really good. Not a beer that I want to go back to 100 times. I might not be here 5 years from now going, man, if I could just have that beer again. But I bought the 6-pack really leaning on the chocolate version of the stout that they had and the vanilla beer, and loved them too. They were very good. But the standout was the strawberry sour. And I was so pleasantly surprised by that. Boulevard's fantastic. I should not have been that surprised because they know what they're doing, but I really like that beer, and I shouldn't have.
I mean, strawberry, like, you're right. So I remember, well, two things about strawberry. One time, before I was a professional brewer, I entered. So back in the day, the Minnesota State Fair homebrew competition was actually a pretty large. It was a pretty big deal. A lot of the breweries around here were started by guys that would win awards there. I remember one year I entered a strawberry. Actually, I entered a strawberry cider, and the judge's notes I got back there was obviously used fake strawberry flavoring, and it was 100% real strawberry juice. Like, it was 100% real, like from a local farmer that did that. Like, nothing, no, not sugar added, not anything. It was just straight up strawberry juice that I added in there, and the notes were that it was fake. Like, strawberry is tricky. I remember Abita used to have a strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
That I really, really liked because it was delicate. And then they went, I am certain, I don't know, but I am certain it's because people said it wasn't strawberry enough and they went over the top on it. And I fucking hated it. I went from one of my favorite fruited blondes to one of my least favorite beers in like one season, because it was like a kiss of strawberry. It was like refreshing to holy shit, this is just like the strawberry sugar bomb. I don't know if they added anything other than just more strawberry, but it's kind of like cucumber, right? Like, you do a hint of it, great. You do a lot of it, it just tastes like you're just drinking pickle juice. Yeah, right. Like 10 Barrel used to make a cucumber sour that I thought was great.
Yeah,
it was right. Strawberry is a tricky one, so I would be really curious to try that beer, Kevin. I like that you brought that up. Yeah, again, maybe not one I would drink a lot, but I would be willing to give that a shot. So that is a really interesting poll there. I like that.
So
Mike,
how long ago was
this?
that pack?
Oh, I picked it up about 4 months ago, I want to say.
Okay. I might have to look at it because I pulled up
Total Wine.
the sour,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, like a Neapolitan 6-pack of all barrel aged beers. Like, this looks pretty fucking good. So I might have to.
It was really cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's still on shelves at Total Wine. So I might have to go search that out.
And they're age-worthy beers, all at high
ABV.
The strawberry one's is 8%, which I think is the lowest ABV of them. But yeah, they were all really, really solid. But yeah, I'm kind of happy I'm the only one that tried that, because it is a very niche kind of beer. But do you guys have anything you tried that you were just really pleasantly surprised with this year?
Like, I haven't gone super out there with a lot of stuff this year. What's kind of funny in this is every so often when my wife and I take our boys to Dixie, I feel like I'm going to mention Dixie a bunch on here. Like, they have such a great tap list, and they almost always have like something really off the wall, like barrel age or big beer or highly fruited beer on tap. And more often than not, they tend to have barrel aged beers from Boulevard. And I remember, as I'm going through their what they call well rested series of all their barrel aged beers, I see one that we had. Well, sometimes like after we eat and the boys are still finishing up their food, we'll get like a small pour of one of these beers to split between us. And I see the barrel aged tiramisu stout, and I don't like tiramisu. Like, I like coffee. I am iffy on like a lot of sweets because I just don't like sweet. So Allie really wanted to try this. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll split it with you. And I'm like, damn, this fucking tastes really good. And like, I have no business liking this beer, and it is really good.
For me, one that pleasantly surprised me. So, one of the quality guys at work has had a kind of a deep cellar, and I'm definitely one of those drink yo cellar type of guys. I don't like to see a lot of people letting these things sit for far too long, and all these barrel aged stouts that are from 2015, they probably taste like soy sauce and all of that. But he's been bringing in beers, as well as one of the owners of Busy has been, going and bringing in beers, and so a few of us have kind of had an impromptu beer club after work a couple nights, and one of them brought in from Head Flyer, which is a local brewery. They have a barrel aged series. With like Buffalo Trace, but this was a VSOP. So it was a Buffalo Trace that then had brandy aged in it, I guess, and then had a beer in there, and it was really, really pleasantly surprising because it had like nice brandy notes. I was worried that like the whiskey was gonna come through too much, or it was gonna feel like too much raspberry or something like that. But it was actually, like, as someone who likes, a holiday tradition, blackberry brandy while playing cards, something like that. But it was really, really pleasantly surprising to me, as someone who'd gotten burnt out on barrel aged beers, to have something that reminded me of some of the things that I've really, and since then I've been able, recent guest Sam here at Sisyphus had a barrel aged Baltic porter that I really liked. Like, there's been some. It's been fun to kind of rediscover my love for barrel aged, but this one, the VSOP, was actually really pleasantly surprising to me, and I was really, it was a fun experience.
So, quick question, because I feel like might be a traditional thing that I completely am unaware of. Is brandy during the Christmas season a thing? Because my wife always likes to buy a bottle of brandy during the Christmas season.
In certain cultures, I don't know. I mean,
because you're also not like even the second person that I know
yeah.
who says this about brandies.
I mean, it wasn't something I grew up with. It's something that I inherited from my ex-wife family, but it is something that I keep on. There is something about that because it's a warming drink, right? Like, it's something that you can sip and it's very warming, and so it fits along with the holidays. Plus, the fruit characteristic. It certainly works out well. Syrupy, candy like flavors. Pairs well with like a Christmas ham, things like that. But yeah, I have heard. I don't know. I just always kind of assumed it's a Midwest thing. I mean, freaking Wisconsin, they make their old fashions with brandy, which drives me insane because you say old fashioned over there, and they think that you're talking brandy instead of rye, and like that bugs me.
I'm not okay with this.
So it's interesting that you go to rye for an old fashioned, as like that's what you assume it is. I assume that it's bourbon. If I want a rye old fashioned, I'm going to say rye old fashioned.
Sure. But I mean, still, rye or bourbon, you're still whiskey as opposed to brandy.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. But or Canadian whiskey. But
Kevin is a big fan of Canadian whiskey.
I love Canadian and Irish whiskey. Those are my two favorites, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, no, for for all of the silly kind of barrel aged stout things that we've seen over the years, as Kevin was saying earlier about all the adjunct laden things, yeah, it's fun, and it really tasted like the holidays for me, even if it was just having a couple small tasters of it at sitting in our new brew lab at work after the kind of the end of the holiday week on Wednesday.
Nice. Okay, I'll jump in here. So I'm gonna give out the award for most dangerous pack of beer. This could be 4-pack, 6-pack, whatever, and I am awarding this to any Voodoo Ranger Force beer, because those things, as I've mentioned on the show before, are so fruity and drink so easy and are damn near 10% and ABV. If you aren't fucking careful, they're gonna knock you on your fucking ass. Last week we took our boys to their first hockey game. Flyers won, and I saw at the Voodoo Ranger beer stall a girl buy Tropic Ranger or Tropic Force, and she took a sip from it, and she was like, her eyes lit up like, "Ooh, this tastes good." And I'm like, she is gonna hate herself tomorrow if she keeps on drinking those like she's liking it right now. Yeah, those beers are just so goddamn dangerous in any pack that you want to slice it, whether it be 12 ounces and 6-packs or 12 packs or tall boys and 4-packs. That's the way I think of it. But what about you guys? Is there a beer that you can buy in a 4-pack, 6-pack that you're like, this is too dumb and dangerous to be available like this? And dumb, I mean in a good way too. Like, just put it out there.
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is Surly Abrasive. Surly's kind of fallen out of favor here for a number of reasons. And so I don't see it nearly as often. But again, going back to work, someone had to pay up on a bet, and they brought in to our quality guy a 4-pack of Abrasive. And after a particularly rough day, I was like, I'm going to gaslight him and tell him that 4-pack never made it into the fridge, and he never saw it, and I'm just going to just sit in the corner and drink that. But we did share that, and that's like, I don't know, it's like 9.5 or something like that. And for double IPA, for as being, as you know, that beer that came out of the IBU arms race of the mid 2000s or late 2000s, and for something that, again, it's called Abrasive, right, for a reason, aside from the fact that Surly was founded in an old abrasives factory. But I was amazed to have that again after years at how smooth that drink and how it didn't assault my palate like it did before, and it drank more like a smooth barley wine, like American barley wine, right? Like double IPA, American barley wine can overlap a little bit. But having
I feel like a lot of American double IPAs become American barley wines with a little bit of age.
Sure. And this, yeah. Well, and this was a lot more fresher. It didn't have that aged flavor to it. But I was amazed at, because, opened up a can and shared some, and after 4 ounces, I was like, I could easily drink 2 16-ounce cans of that and not even think about it until I go to stand up, having 2 16-ounce 9.5% beers or whatever it was. So yeah, I have not gone out and sought it out in a 4-pack. It's probably, I don't know, $17 or something like that, something stupid. But it is something that if someone left that in my fridge, I should meter it out and have one a week, and I would find myself on a Saturday having to, and about to crack that third and go, oh, that was a mistake. So yeah, that beer would definitely creep up on me. I was amazed at how smooth it drank.
The only beer that comes to my mind when I start thinking about like hiding the alcohol well and being dangerous to me is Old Stock by North Coast. That beer is ridiculously smooth and can really creep up on you. I also want to go back an award for Mike when you were talking about the Take My Money, please, because I've been in my brain as I've been talking, thinking about what beer that might be. The beer I came up with finally, Deliverance from Lost Abbey. That was the blend of the Serpent Stout and the Angel Share that I think I only had once, maybe twice. I was just looking up, and apparently they've done it since. They've done it more in more modern times. If I could get my hands on that, please take my whatever you want. If you are listening to this and you have a bottle and you want to give it to me, just tell me how much money you want for it, because I would love to have that beer again. Sorry to go back, but I've been thinking about it.
I also feel like I definitely have had that beer, probably with you. And I also feel like we made our own at one point when someone had a bottle of Serpent Stout and a bottle of Angel Share at a thing, and we just were like, "Hey, let's do it," and that happened. Man, some of those Lost Abbey beers.
That's a brewery that made just everything was amazing for the longest time. I don't even know what they're still doing on a regular basis, but
we
don't we don't see any of it. As Mike is looking this up, Tim, do you have another category that you'd like to give an award for?
Yeah, I'm going to go a super self-serving category, and I'm going to go with best collaboration of 2025, and that is Summit and Busy Coffee with the Summit Coffee Amber. So again, classic style and amber, right? With our cold brew coffee. I'm a guy that I've always been on Team Coffee Beer. Back in the beer Twitter days, Joel and I used to always do hashtag coffee beer. I used to always make my old cold brew, and I would literally turn a lot of non-coffee beers into coffee beers when I was drinking them. One, it helped me just kind of stretch a beer out, right? If you're diluting it with coffee, you're drinking, instead of having 3 beers in a night, I would have 2 because it was diluted down. But I was always one that liked the non-traditional. One of my favorite coffee beers I ever made was an ESB with coffee. It was our Minnesota Special Bitter that I called Minnesota Special Breakfast. It was great. I loved it. And so I like kind of those styles with there. But I was even I was a little bit nervous about this one, but when that released and us brewers went over to the Summit Tap Room and then to see it and have it in their fall variety pack. Again, completely self-serving. But it was fun to see the collaboration of 2 beverage brands, but not 2 breweries necessarily, and not one of those collaborations where it's like we collaborated with the local whatever business that has nothing to do with beer, but it's co-branded, and as this was a true blending of two beverage brands and 2 styles together, it's fun because collabs. It wasn't. We didn't go over there and do the traditional take a picture of us throwing hops into a beer. They didn't come over and take a picture of them scooping coffee grounds, like all of that kind of got played out and collabs. I feel like 5 years ago were just an excuse to hang out with your friends and drink beer while you're brewing. To have something that felt, intentional and well executed and well done from a co-branding standpoint. And yes, completely self-serving. But also I do, because I believe in it, and I think it was very successful and was great around a fire this fall. And because we go from fall today, winter tomorrow in Minnesota, it's still going to bleed over into now the multiple inches of snow that are out there on my front lawn. Having that beer, really happy with how it turned out, and one of the kind of fun things about beer for me in 2025.
I'm going to jump in here and say, I don't have a lot of ideas about great collaborations because I haven't seen one, but there's this new beer. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's called Collaboration Not Litigation. It just came out. It's fresh. It's new. It's on everyone's tongues. That would be my favorite collaborate. Wait, is it? Oh shit! It's 2025, not 2008. So I'm sorry. That apparently is not going to be something I can comment on
because you're 2000 and late.
So I want to jump back to Kevin's please brew this again because he got to jump back because talking about Lost Abbey made me think of like there's a beer that I really love from and I couldn't remember right at the moment of talking about that what it was. And it was 10 Commandments. It was Belgian Dark Strong with raisins, rosemary, and I loved that beer so much.
Sounds good.
And it looks like they haven't made it since 2017. So yeah, please brew that beer just for me. And while I was looking that stuff up, I found that my antivirus does not like Lost Abbey's website whatsoever. It will not let me go to their site. And also, so I went to the Untappd page for 10 Commandments, and there are people logging check-ins to this that say, this is my old rate beer rating for this beer. Like multiple people are, I guess, moving their rate beer ratings over to Untappd. And that is just a weird thing to me.
I thought rate beer died like 6 years ago.
I did too, but it's just the fact that you need your ratings to exist in some form, that you are now checking in a beer in 2015 or 2025 that you drank in 2015
on
is
a platform
fucking weird and sad.
2015. Yeah. That's wild. Okay, so Mike, how many more awards do you have? I just want to get a feel.
I think one. I have one.
Okay. Tim, do you have any idea of how many more you want to talk about?
Indiscriminate.
Okay. So I'm going to do two. I'm going to do two awards here. One of them is very personal, just like Tim's was. I mean, he talked about a collaboration that was very close to his heart and something he was involved in. As some of you might know, I do a series called Old Favorite Friday on the Barrel of Monk social media. And I talk about incredible classic beers that just don't get the love and respect that I think they deserve because they've been around forever. And I wanted to give my Old Favorite Friday favorite beer award to, I mean, these are beers that I love. All these beers I love. But I wanted to give a special shout out to this beer because it was a beer that I only had once, I think, before. And I was so blown away about how goddamn good it was. And it's probably sitting dusty on your Total Wine and More shelf or your other big box craft beer retailer. You probably can't get it on a regular basis. And if you can, or you can get it on a regular basis, you just don't. That's probably more apt. And it's Corbinian Doppelbock by Weihenstephaner. This beer is insanely good. It is a beautiful Doppelbock. It is perfectly made. And it is a gem of all gems. I look forward to doing the Old Favorite Friday stuff all the time. I just got a bunch of beers from a friend of ours in Chicago, Phil. He got me the Smoked Porter by Alaskan Brewing and an IPA. He got me several beers that I can do, and so kind of him to do that. So I'm always looking for new beers to do, but you know, this was a beer that wasn't really even on my radar. It wasn't like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. I literally was going through the shelves trying to find another beer. And I saw this and I looked it up and I go, oh, I think I had this in the past. And it's Weihenstephaner. It's going to be amazing. And I drank it and said, why am I not drinking this all the time? And so that was, out of all the beers I did in this year, the beer that stuck out the most to me as being so incredible, so underrated, I guess, or under the radar, that it absolutely needed to be shouted out here. So Corbinian, Doppelbock, Weihenstephaner, amazing.
You know, I'll add my old favorite Friday favorite in here because I want to plug the first time that I was ever on your old favorite Friday, and that is Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout. Like it was my entry to craft, if you will, to better beer, if you will, and like just stuff different than what the commercials told me, and that beer just is one of the best things. It just takes me back to a different time when I was younger. I was dumber. I had more hair, only a little bit more, and is there a better oatmeal stout out there? I don't know, maybe, probably, but is there one that makes me feel so happy like Sam Smith Oatmeal Stout? No.
Tim, you have anything to add to this one?
Well, I wanted to go back to something we talked about earlier with Victory.
Yes, I love the circular nature of this show. We're all like banking these ideas in our brains and just going back.
I'm kidding. Although it is funny when you guys mentioned Storm King, because there's a brew pub here in town called Storm King, and I can't believe they never got a cease and desist from Victory for being called Storm King Brewing. For me, old favorites have been, I've talked about them a lot on this podcast in the past. Recently is rediscovering Michelob Amberbach, right? Like, falling back in love with Guinness. Like some of these things that were my entree into craft beer. Just some of the kind of the simpler things. Like I'm ready to go to an old Chicago pizza and get some Blue Moon with oranges in it. I'm ready to go back to that. Seriously, sometimes a few of us have a meeting at work on Fridays. Not the one with the guy who's selling beer, but we have our own little side meeting where we have to go check the specs on the roto girder. And someone brought in some Guinness the other day, and I was like, holy shit. It has been a hot minute since I've had a Guinness out of a bottle. Certainly even on tap.
The extra stout or the draft? Okay. Yeah.
Extra stout's fantastic.
Yeah. And just remembering, that's right. This is a really good beer.
It's so good.
Yeah, like it's so funny sometimes when you talk about those old favorites or things that you haven't touched in a while. It's like, oh yeah, because I got distracted by all the neat flashing lights and the pretty, pictures and the sirens and the bells and the whistles and all of that. And you go, no, there's just sometimes I just want to hear them play the hits. And an extra stout in a bottle. Man, I could do anything from tailgate a football game to celebrate the holidays, to unwind after a hard day at work with that beer. So yeah, that's on my list of an old favorite.
Extra stout only exists in a bottle, right? Like
I believe so. Yeah, they don't do cans for that now.
They don't do draft. I don't. I've never seen it on draft.
They do Capri Sun pouches of it though.
I should have known that.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more that I think all of us will have something to say on, and then I'll let Mike and Tim jump in here and hopefully take us home. This is the best beer to take to a party, and what I mean by that is a beer that will be okay for the craft drinkers will love it, but maybe the non-craft drinker at your Thanksgiving party or Christmas party will also like partake in and try for the first time. And there's several beers that I came up for this. And two of them that I think that are the most prominent, at least for me, is Bell's Two Hearted, because it is an approachable IPA, and IPA is the most popular beer style in the world, and Lagunitas Little Something Something. I don't know what it is about Little Something Something, but I feel like I've been to many situations where that beer has been like the only craft option, and it's a, I don't know, they call it a wheat IPA or something. I can't remember exactly what they classify it as, but it's very, very approachable. Both those are approachable beers in really classic craft beer styles that are consumable by very many people, and your craft lovers tend to enjoy them. My personal picks, but what do you guys have to say?
Like this is kind of tough for me because I could take this a few different ways. The best beer to take to a party, sometimes I feel like that is something that only I will like, so no one else will take my beer out of the fridge.
I'm trying to say to share, Mike. Share the wealth.
I know that was what you were going for, but I had to also preface that. It really depends. Like, do I think that the crowd is going to be more on the lighter side of things, or do I think that they're going to be more on the hoppy, like they could be IPA drinkers? Like, I was really surprised when we went to California this past time, and we were having a little like dinner party at one of my wife's friends' house, and how much IPAs were in the fridge. I'm like, I didn't think that this crowd was an IPA drinking crowd. Like, and my wife was like, oh, they know that you like beer. I'm like, but they don't have to buy all this beer for me. Like, they're drinking it too. Like, they can drink whatever they want. And I'm like, and they're drinking these. So like, I guess if I'm going light stuff, like, I'm tooting my own horn here because I'm going to say a beer that we make, and that's our Copper Point Bee Squeeze. It's a light blonde ale with orange peel and honey. And I think that that's a really good beer for that type of scenario. And then for IPA type stuff, like, I'm more often than not going to probably take like Hazy Little Thing. Like, honestly, we went to a friend's house to watch a football game earlier this season, and it was the first time that we've ever gone over to their house. And I was like, I'm going to bring beer. I'm like, I think they like IPAs. So I grabbed a 12-pack of Hazy Little Thing, brought it over, and it absolutely worked. So I was like, oh yes, of course, that was a great decision. So I would probably pick Hazy Little Thing. Yeah.
I consider that as well, by the way, because approachable hazies are very popular. Tim, you got anything for us?
Yeah, I mean, I had two that popped to mind. First one, Miller High Life, man.
I was gonna say that, but I was like, that's a cop out, right?
Well, but like, how many brewers have we had on this podcast, or how many times? Literally, Kevin's got one right, like it is such a brewer's beer, right? It's such a beer nerd's beer, but it's also such an accessible, like even if you're like just like typical Midwest Busch Light drinker, like if you saw a Miller High Life, you'd be like, oh, the beer nerd didn't make me drink some stupid fruity or sour or whatever. I just want a beer flavored beer, right? But also, like, every brewer you've ever met is in love with that beer. So Miller High Life was the very first one that came to mind. And so it's perfect that Kevin literally has one right in front of him. And then the other one, I'm going to go Sierra Nevada again, but I'm just going to go Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I'm going to just go classic because it comes from that era of craft where people were the things were noticeably craft, but they weren't so aggressive and bitter, right? IPA is a very popular style, but if I'm going to bring it to a party, and I know there's probably also a lot of not IPA drinkers, but are still going to appreciate that. And then all of my craft beer friends are going to go, you know what? You brought a classic. Like, so, yeah, I know. I went the most basic bitch answers that you possibly can. But to me, if I'm going to bring things that are going to be crowd pleasers, if I brought a 12 pack of SNPA and a 12 pack of champagne, I swear to like I wouldn't be bringing any beer home. Like like to me, that is
That's
the
the
way to
move.
go.
That's the
Yeah.
move.
I would have said, I would have said pale too if it were easier to find for me. Like hazy little things, so much more accessible to
Unfortunately,
me.
true. Yeah.
So like that one just is the first one that comes to my mind. But man, I was thinking like I want to have a celebration in a bottle. And a Sierra Pale in a bottle would be fucking awesome right now too, in my opinion.
I would
Like,
like it in a glass harmonica.
You know that I went to Whole Foods trying to find Celebration, and they had a ton of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale in a bottle. A ton. It was they had stackers, but they didn't
Oh,
have
really?
Celebration. That pissed me off even more. Okay, so I have monopolized so many of these. Mike, what do you got for us?
So there's actually one on the list that you sent earlier that I kind of want to do instead of the one that I was going to do, but we could do them both, I guess.
You do whatever you want, my friend.
Okay, so I'm going to do the one I picked first, and that is most likely to start a comment section war. And this is an award that is newly minted, really, and to commemorate the occasion, I am drinking said beer, and that is the High Bucket. I don't know if you saw this. You should just type in High Bucket. Sierra Nevada, not Sierra Nevada. We've talked about Sierra Nevada. Cigar City did 5-gallon buckets branded of High, their IPA. If you don't know who they are, sorry. That contains 12 12-ounce cans or 24 12-ounce cans of High. I fucked this entire award up. This is such a silly marketing ploy, but I love it so much. So much so that I was like, I learned about this from one of their sales managers on LinkedIn. Posted about it, and it had a comment war going on in it. Like so many people asking questions about like, what the fuck is this? How is this done? There's a person who I follow who works for a co-packer, and he was like, I have so many questions about this. Like, who did you buy the packaging from? What is the format that is like? How does it look inside of it? I want to see the diagram of how the cans are laid out. It's only available at Sam's Club in Florida, from what I understand. And it's like $32 for a 5-gallon bucket of a case of beer. And I love it. And I love how much people are like so confused about it, because as Kevin said before we went on the air, I thought it was just literally a bucket of beer. And
you open the lid and it's just 5 gallons.
No,
it hisses when you open the can.
No, hold on. I need to clarify. I did not think that. I thought it was just AI. I thought it was just a photoshopped image. And my first thought was not that there are cans in there, that somebody just did that. And it's completely impractical and implausible that someone would do that, because how could you put beer in there? But of course, yes, putting an extra package inside the bucket is absolutely a practical thing you can do. It just seems so ridiculous to me.
I love that you said just AI. My 10-year-old daughter calls everything like we'll watch YouTube, like because she and I I don't know, we've got this sick obsession with watching like ghost hunting or like scary things or conspiracy theories on YouTube, because my daughter is super practical and super like
I'm glad that you went that way. I was about to say, please don't tell me your daughter is Joe Rogan.
Oh no! She's the opposite. Like she's like, that's just a bug too close to the camera, or like all this stuff. But like my daughter all the time is like, that's just AI, and I'm like, that's the Zapruder film, kiddo. There was not AI back then. Like you're too young to understand that AI is a recent thing, not in your lifetime, but in my lifetime. So I do like that. But I thought that too. Like I thought this was like, like one of those Clever Onion articles
Yeah.
when you sent that. But I was so I grew to like appreciate it. So I showed it to two of the other coffee brewers at worked at breweries, and one was like, "Oh, I'd rather have a cooler," and then the other one was like, "Oh, but you know what? How many times I've been on vacation and I want to like, I'm not gonna go buy a cooler, but I want to go ahead and take a case of something or whatever." I was like, "That's kind of brilliant. Is that it's like instant cooler, just that ice."
I want to see what it looks like on the inside to see like, oh, do you just pour ice in and it kind of flows down nicely?
Yeah, like to me, I was like, the more I thought about it, like especially if it's not like in a cardboard pack inside, if it's just loose cans that literally you can just add ice to. I was like, I'm on vacation to Florida. I go to Sam's Club and I buy a bucket of beer. I go grab ice out of the big ice chest thing. I go to the beach. I dump my ice in, and now I've got a bucket of beer while I'm at the beach. Like to me, I was like, I made fun of it when you sent it to us, but I was like, fuck, that's brilliant. Like I kind of like the idea.
I'm thinking about the practical aspect of making those. Is there literally the cans are coming off the line and people are stacking them intently in a very particular kind of pattern? Because that's not practical for a giant brewery like Cigar City, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about cans coming off a line that are like being automatically packed into something, not like 7 people going, okay, stack this one on top of this one and put this one on top of it. Build the pyramid perfectly.
But have you seen variety packs being built at large breweries? They're not coming off the line. They're literally having to hand stack those things into queues to make them work. Right? You don't have 4 different canning lines going into one queue. You're taking them from 4 different batches. It's kind of the same amount of manual intensive labor to do that.
First of all, you're ruining the magic for me because I am so ignorant to how that process would work because I have a shitty pissant brewery that would never be able to do that. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That's a really, really good point.
It's the same. It's the whole intensive. I mean, and it is a big pain in the ass. You're right. It does seem like it'd be a big pain in the ass, but pain in the ass is sort of what craft beer is all about, frankly.
And it's also what Florida does. So craft beer, Florida, pain in the ass, so
that was the other thing.
You're welcome, America.
That was the other thing when Dietrich was like, talking about wanting a cooler and the whole like literally just when you're done you've got the Home Depot bucket. But I was like, and you guys are also missing. Because I don't think Dietrich realized that High Life was a Florida beer or whatever Mike did. And I was like, the other thing that you guys are missing when you're looking at this and judging it is the because Florida aspect of this. And then, oh, yeah, no, you're right. That makes a lot more sense now.
I want to buy all those. I want to buy like 10 of those buckets. I'll drink the beer and then I'll use them as blow off buckets for all of my FVs. And they'll be appropriate for what I'm doing. They'll no longer say Lowe's, and it'll be on brand.
I didn't even think about that. Well, think about all of the home brewers that use that are fermenting in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, see, I think this is even more. The longer this like marinates in my brain, the more brilliant I think this.
Phil is so happy right now. Phil is so happy.
Like my first instinct, my gut reaction was that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. And the longer my brain marinates in that broth, I think it's beautiful, and I'm surprised maybe someone's come up with it before, but I think it's beautiful. I'm just sad it was Sam's Club and not Home Depot. Because I really like the idea of that's the Friday construction. Because like I don't know if you guys have ever worked construction or worked for construction guys. A lot of times, Friday, yeah. Friday is like the fuck.
I've never worked
shift. But like Friday can definitely be the fuck off shift where like everyone's cracking a beer by noon, and I was like, that is the perfect thing. Hey, I got to go pick up more screws and a couple extra blades over at Home Depot. I'll be right back, and then come back with 2 buckets of High Life. God, that sounds.
The interesting thing is the only Sam's Club that was anywhere close to me is now Home Depot.
So are they selling it too? Because they used to be a Sam's Club?
Yes, I think that's how it works. They have to sell everything that Sam's Club
It's
used to sell.
grandfathered in. I mean, they also have to sell toilet paper.
It's in the deed to the property.
Yeah. I also think of Ron Swanson going into Home Depot, but he's a craft beer nerd, and he goes, "I know more than you."
I want to pull because Kevin said that he was done, but I have one on the list here that he didn't do that I want to.
I have a couple more, but we were just kind of flowing, and I don't think we have to. Like,
you made it sound like you were done before, because you were like, I got one more, and then Tim and Mike can take us home.
I just don't want to go too long. I want to give you guys free reign to do your thing, but I can. Please, Mike, just talk. You're good.
Okay, I'm gonna take your "We Didn't Know You Still Exist" award.
Okay,
and I'm going to give this award to Saranac.
They still exist?
They still exist. They are still making beer up in the Adirondacks, I think is where they're at. FX Matt. They, I think, still do some contract stuff for Brooklyn as well. But Saranac beers are still being brewed out of upstate New York, and I'd be up for revisiting. I never really was blown away by any of their stuff, but I always kept on trying new stuff from them in my early days, and I'd be up for revisiting some of those things. And maybe I was a dick early on in my craft beer journey. They don't exist anymore?
No. I'm saying you were not a dick. Those beers were never any good. They were just one of the breweries that were doing craft early on and had a lot of different styles, and at best mediocre from my recollection, and typically pretty bad. I was interested in this category of this "we still exist" or "you still exist," and that's a shocking thing, was Smutty Nose, because I was shocked when I saw them on my store shelf, and this was a pleasant surprise because Finest Kind IPA is fantastic. I really, really love Smutty Nose beers, and they're still around. Obviously, I mean, at least in Florida, only a few brands are available, and
they're under the same ownership as Harpoon.
Oh, are they really? I didn't know that. But yeah, so that's where my mind was going with this category. I love that you mentioned Saranac, because no, I have not seen it in forever, and I am absolutely shocked they're still there. These are the polar opposites. Saranac still being around, okay, fine. That's not a pleasant surprise. Smutty Nose being around, very pleasant surprise. I wish that I could get more of their beers because they're really, really good. Whereas Saranac, it would. If those beers were there at Total Wine, I'd pick them up just for funsies, just for nostalgia purposes. But I wouldn't be expecting much.
I like this category, and I like that you said Smutty Nose, and I don't know if you saw my face. Probably should be my answer, because I had forgotten they were a thing until you said that name. Completely had escaped my memory. Like, there's probably a billion other breweries that are like that, but that's one to me, it's like, holy shit, they still exist. I haven't thought about them in years. And again, we got hyper local here in the upper Midwest. So a lot of the things that came, again, weirdly, war pigs for whatever reason. But we got so hyper local that we didn't see that. So Smutty Nose is a great one. Upstate New York, I got Genesee Cream Ale. the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised. A, at the price point, and B, to have something like that. And I got to be a nerd and explain to people how cream ale was North America's answer to German lagers and all that stuff. But the one that I thought of when we talked about this category was frankly one that we talked about previously, and that's Rogue.
Yeah.
Right? Honestly, Rogue.
Yeah.
That was a whole like,
and they're now not a thing. So
well,
I mean,
and,
like they
yeah,
were there, and now they're gone.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things where it was like, oh shit, you're closing. I didn't realize this was 10 years ago. Like it. Yeah, now they're no longer a thing, but it was one that was the first thing that came to my mind, because that was one of those where it was like I have completely forgotten about you. So I don't have a Saranac. I don't have a Smutty Nose, which again, that's a brilliant one. But Rogue was the first thing that came to my mind.
Here's another one that just came to my mind, and I just looked up to see. Does anyone remember Tommyknocker?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Do you think that
around?
they still exist?
I don't think so.
Tim?
I'm gonna say yes.
They do. They still exist in Colorado.
Is it being the contract brewed by somebody? There's no way.
They have a restaurant. They have their facility. Like, yeah.
That's another brewery, and I'm using air quotes, that was I
never did anything for me. Yeah.
Never had a good beer by them. I just had a beer by them.
Yeah.
And when the only options at the craft beer shelf at Total Wine and More was Tommyknocker, Saranac, and Wild Blue, like that was it. And then there was some Dogfish Head and Chimay. That was it. That was all you had. And you're like, yes, I will try everything you have, because why not? Maybe there was some North Coast thrown in there. I don't know. But apparently great breweries go out of business, and these mediocre ones somehow soldier on in some way, shape, or form, which defeats me even more.
Well, the other one that came to mind, and I know it's arguable to what form is this still the same brewery, but Sweetwater is one that I know has gone through multiple acquisitions and changes and all of that, but that was something that for a while there had a fair amount of ubiquity, certainly on Delta flights, right? Delta Hub here in MSP. But
they were featured on The Walking Dead. There were Sweetwater cases in the background.
Yeah. That was another one that came to mind was I honestly had to look up, do they still exist? Because
Tilray owns them.
Yeah,
lead company.
Yeah, like I said, they've gone through, I think over the last 10 years, they've gone through like 4 different like acquisitions and whatever.
So I can completely get where you're coming from with them. Like, although they are in my local grocer, and they're very often on sale. Like they're running BOGOs on their beers in there all the time. So that's really the only reason that I know that they still exist, is because I see the BOGO signs in front of their 6-packs and 12-packs pretty regularly there.
So in the Southeast, they're probably a lot more ubiquitous. They used to just have a lot, right?
But they weren't available here for a really long time, and when they did open, there was a very big push on 420 down here, and then it just kind of, like a lot of out of state places, it just fell in line.
Sure. But they probably still have distribution in that. Like, I think a lot of these brands that were like nationally distributed that then shrunk down to like a 13-state area that was a lot more regional.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so for in the upper Midwest, I'd forgotten they were a thing. So they were probably they were probably a top 50. I'm willing to bet they were a top 50 craft brewery at one point.
They still, I mean, when you combine all of their brands now, they're a top 10.
But I mean, just them like alone, like not that ownership group, but just
yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like the original manifestation of that place, I think. Right? They had a lot larger footprint, and again,
and funny on the flip side is Summit to us, because we used to have Summit down here, and like they had some good beers that and like, but they were just lost in the shuffle of being like, hey, we're a regional brewery from the Midwest, we're in Florida now. Okay, like, what makes you stand out from all these other things? And like they pulled out, they scaled back, and they're focusing on the Midwest, and like that's probably a better thing for them than being down the fuck here.
Yeah, Tim, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it kind of reminds me, like Yuengling announced that they were going to finally cross the Mississippi, and they're like, I don't know, a year behind their plans, but they're now finally crossed. Like I think Iowa's like, we don't have them here in Minnesota yet.
Wisconsin and Iowa are the next two states.
Yeah, but they had said they were going to be in Iowa like a year ago, and so like they're like behind the schedule on that. But it is kind of one of those things where it's like, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but like the distribution model, how wide your footprint, and like so many things have changed about what is smart to do. And so I absolutely get why brands would completely contract and focus in their backyard. But yeah, for me, again, maybe it's a lot, the ubiquity down there, seeing BOGOs on something like that is a brand that, again, I don't think that's like the premier brand on Delta flights anymore, and it used to be. So
I love that our awards show has trickled down to very specific conversations about like market share and how we attack market. There's nothing more United We Drink than this. This is the exact way that it's supposed to go, and talking about where Yuengling is expanding into and things of that nature, because that's what we think about, right? We're industry professionals that really care about like the nuts and bolts of it. And it's also very interesting to hear your perspective, Tim, because as we always talk about, like, our perspective in Florida is so unique to the rest of the beer world, and your perspective being outside of that bubble is so refreshing, because I always talk about like everything for us is the curtains. Like we just forget that this is just normal for us and not normal for everybody else, and we just kind of forget about it.
But that's also just Florida in general in like a billion categories. Like I mean I know I make fun of Florida, but really you guys
about
do.
It sounds awful.
But I mean, you guys do live in a state that like operates like Florida and Texas think that they're their own countries in so many ways, and so when it comes to commerce and everything else, it is very different.
And that our official nickname is the Free State of Florida, right?
I thought it was America's Wang.
It's both, actually. I think we have officially jumped the shark on the awards aspect of this. I think, or no, Tim's got one.
I have one more award.
Do it.
I have one more award. My award goes to this is a very backhanded award, but
good one to end on.
Negative trend that will turn out to be a positive. And that's going to be breweries closing. I don't like to see breweries close. I don't like to see people out of jobs. I don't want to say culling of the herd. I like to think of it more like
culling of the flock.
Pruning the hedges. I think that in 2026, You're going to see more closures, but I think you're going to, as we've talked about with some of these trends on more kind of like the classic brewpub styles and people's taste changing. I think you're going to see not a growing beer industry, but I think you're going to maybe see a more healthy beer industry coming up. So coming out of a lot of negative, right? I don't like to see all these closures happening. But I think as we kind of get into this, I'm not saying we're out of inflation, right? Like I talked to you guys earlier today about how one of the dirty little secrets about tariffs is that they spiked prices, and easing the tariffs doesn't mean prices are going to ease. Like that is just a big freaking negative. Coffee prices jumped 50%. They're not going to go back down now that the tariffs are gone. Tariffs have been gone for 2 weeks, and coffee prices haven't changed at all. And when they do correct, they're still going to correct at about 25% higher than they were before. But I do think as we kind of get to the other side of holy shit, we screwed our entire economy. Now we have to have some correction. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of bad or good breweries that aren't going to survive. There's going to also probably be a lot of bad breweries that maybe were causing some challenges. I think you're going to see, like, craft beer isn't dead, right? So many people like to say craft beer is dead. It's not dead, but it is going through a pruning phase. And I think 2026, maybe you're going to start to see. I don't think you're going to see more openings than closures, but I think maybe you're going to see some positive indicators that this year of doom and gloom has maybe trained us all to not look for. So that's my last award.
And that's an award that is also a jumpstart on our predictions for 2026, which will be our next episode.
Like
what a transition!
I wanted to jump in so much to say stuff there, but I'm like, this really does lead into like talking about predictions for the next year. So awesome job on that, Tim. All right, so let's wrap this episode up with our last calls of 2026. Kevin, how about you kick us off here?
Wait, of what year?
Wait, 2025. Sorry. I realized
you're jumping ahead. That's okay, Mike. We all know what you're getting at. So last week I talked about music. I talked about the history of rock and roll and 500 songs, which I've actually talked about before. I actually have a trilogy, if you will, of music topics that I will be talking about. One last week, or the last episode, I should say. One this episode, and one for the first episode of next year. And this one is going to be centered around 2 songs that my father sent me in the last several months. Songs that were important to him in his youth, songs that he was really passionate about, songs that I had never heard before. Every now and then, my dad will just send me a YouTube link to a video of a song. And, sometimes these are songs that really resonate with me immediately. Sometimes, there are songs that I'm not drawn to immediately, and I have to listen to and try to like think about, his perspective and why he loves this song. But these 2 were just crystal clear immediately and absolutely impactful to my life, and songs that have been in my regular rotation since then. So, Dad, this is for you. Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore by John Prine. This song came out in 1969. I had never heard this song before. I don't know if there's a more relevant song to America at this point. Tim is nodding his head with a giant smile. So obviously knows this song. I highly recommend you looking this song up. It talks in a very charming way about just the idea of being overtly patriotic and how ridiculous it really is, and how it doesn't guarantee you anything when you have no thought in your mind about what that patriotism actually does. And it's a funny song, it's a brilliant song, and it, like I said, is incredibly relevant in this day and time when you're driving around and looking at bumper stickers on cars and thinking about it. So I highly recommend you listen to that song. The other one is by Henson Cargill. It's called Skip a Rope. And this song came out in 1967. It also describes our times in a eerie way. It is a upbeat, kind of jaunty number, but at the same time, the topics are horrifying. It's talking about family violence and really dysfunctional family values. And it does it in a simplistic and straightforward way that is just refreshing to hear. It, in some ways, also talks about just the American experience in many ways. Those two songs are brilliant. And I'm not going to say that you're just going to listen to those and just love them immediately. They're definitely, a particular kind of style of music. But if you pick up those songs and you get something out of them, you have something in common with me, because my dad shared them with me, and God damn it, they're two of the most brilliant and relevant songs of all time. And they were both made in the late 1960s. And right now, if you listen to them, you'll feel what I'm talking about.
Right. I'm going to jump in because my topic's music related as well. Because on the day that we're recording this, December 3rd, it seems like all of the big major music streaming services drop their year-end stuff. The Spotify Wrap. I don't know what any of the other services call their things, but this year was a weird year for me with music, because the children definitely dominated our listening to music in cars, but my wife and I decided to change music streaming services this year. In October, we decided that we didn't like where Spotify was going with a lot of their AI implementation. One of their upper echelon people investing into weapons companies, and we decided we didn't want our money going there anymore. Everything is deciding with these big companies a lesser of evils, really. I'm not going to try to stand some moral high ground and be like, I went to the better music service, because they all fucking suck when you look at the people who run these shows. But we decided that those types of things are things that we don't want to be a part of and we don't want to give our money to. We went with Apple Music. We've been pretty happy with that because we have a family plan too. So my wife and I, we share we have our own accounts. We can listen to our own things, but we pay together and actually save a little bit of money with Apple Music in this whole scheme of things. So when it came time to people to do their year-end things, I'm no longer with Spotify, so I don't get that. And I didn't have enough data with Apple to create their end of the year review for me. So I was left in this very gray area. And it got me into thinking about okay, what did we listen to a lot? Oh, a whole lot of Moana was listened to. The first soundtrack, a good bit of the second one too. Encanto was still very strong in the early part of this year. If these music companies actually put Lin-Manuel Miranda as artist on these things instead of the characters, these a lot of the times have the characters listed as the actor and actress that was involved in it, we would probably be one of the top fans of Lin-Manuel Miranda. So congratulations to you. We gave you a whole lot more money, maybe, kind of, sort of. But one song that definitely went up the list for us recently has been Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. Our son Bruno loves that song so much. The first time that I remember the first time that I played it for him in our car. And I was just like, you know, I'm just going to put on a punk rock playlist that I have. Let's just see how things go. And I remember him sitting in his car seat in the back, bobbing his head. And he calls it I.O. Let's Go. He will say like, hey, Daddy, can I listen to I.O. Let's Go? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm trying to tell him it's called Blitzkrieg Bop. But more and more times that we play that, other punk songs, especially Ramones songs, will come on after that, and he won't be like, okay, can you play something else? He'll let it ride. Jack, on the other hand, will be like, can you play something different? But I really want this coming year, to be a year that I can kind of get them into more of my music, more of even Allie's music too. And like, I don't want this to sound like I'm indoctrinating my kids or trying to indoctrinate my kids, because Jack's certainly very strong-willed on a lot of things. But I want to introduce them to stuff that I enjoy and stuff that I like, and see where it goes from there. Like we've had some success with the Bouncing Souls in the past, so like I feel like punk could be a very cool way to see where Bruno likes, and like I would like to see maybe my end of year playlist review thing next year not be so Disney Lin-Manuel Miranda heavy. The songs are great too. I mean, my kids are now solidly into Frozen stuff. Over the holiday break of Thanksgiving, they watched the first one for the first time, and we have now watched that many times. We've listened to the soundtrack. We've watched the second movie. So there is the potential this backfires completely in my face. But yeah, I think that there's potential to get my kids, or at least one of them, into some better music. Converge has a new album coming out next year. That might be a bit much for him. But, you know, kids, music. Tim?
God, it is increasingly hard to follow the rules of last calls and not respond to either of you. One thing, listeners, that you don't know is, yes, I get very contentious on some of these episodes, and immediately the second we got done recording the last episode, we immediately started talking about music and how brilliant. We've got so many overlaps. Kevin and I have, like, if you looked at like a 3-person Venn diagram of music, it's not in concentric circles at all, but Kevin and I overlap on so many things, and Mike and I overlap on so many things. And I can even appreciate someone who would maybe make their kid Bruno listen to the Encanto soundtrack, knowing exactly the hit song from that soundtrack. But
it's not even his favorite song from the album.
Well, yeah, because you don't talk about him. But like, it is so much fun how much we do bond over all of these fun musical things, and there is absolutely an episode of United We Drink about music and beer that I want to do, and I think we desperately need to do, and we will do in 2026. So year end, personal note, I have not really liked the holidays for a long time. One, just seasonal affective disorder, right? 2, just the stress of family and travel and all of that stuff. And I don't know. Also, just like the whole arbitrary, like if we lived on a different planet and it took different amount of time to go around the sun, we'd have these completely different, like it's an arbitrary milestone that we mark, right? Which I suppose anyone could argue that all milestones are. And so I hate, like, I've never been a New Year's resolution guy, and I hate kind of year end things. I'm sure Mike's Stitcher Wrapped account is very interesting. But one thing that I think appreciate about this time of year is kind of the way that we practice gratitude. I've started a relationship with a new therapist here recently, and he talked about, he asked me about my support system, and I didn't have like a super long list, but Mike and Kevin were on that list. Very short list, but they were on that list. And I very much appreciate that they allow me to be a contrarian, contentious dick. That they challenge me and allow me to challenge them. And again, like I said, the second we got done recording, like the way we were bonding over so many things, to me, that is important. In the way that I can start off before we started recording tonight, talk about like my fears and things going on personally and professionally. How much even though I'm often ill prepared for our recording, but every other week I get to spend a time. So to all 7 of you that were your top podcast, thank you very much. I largely look at this as a secondary therapy session with 2 friends, and it's something that I really look forward to, even if I don't do my homework. Right? It's like I feel like the slacker student that has a favorite teacher. Right? Like I love going to class even though I won't do the homework. But again, just in that spirit of practicing gratitude, in a time when this time of year always gets me stressed and anxious and struggling, it's really good to have all of you, listener and 6 bots, or Phil occasionally, Maddie occasionally. Well, no, I said and 6. 6 plus 1 is 7, guys. Yeah. So these guys that I said I'm grateful for are giving me shit now silently, even though they're not supposed to respond. They're not responding out loud. They're still responding, dicks. No. It is really good to know that when I think about gratitude, it's these 2 gentlemen that I count amongst my friends, and it's fun to be able to crack jokes, make like the number of references that each other gets here or there. Neither of them said out loud, and they both got a Mitch Hedberg reference I made earlier, right? There's Simpsons references. There's all of these little things. I can freaking make a Johnny Mathis reference and Kevin's dad's gonna comment on it. Like, it's all like the little kind of subculture things that go on there. They're not meaningless though. And so in that spirit of gratitude, I want to say thank you, Kevin and Mike. Thank you very much for being a support for me and a thing that I get to look forward to every other week. And I've got some positive things going in my life. I've got some blossoming relationships and things like that. But one of these things in my life and that people know is meaningful to me is that every other week I get to hang out, kind of like a COVID Zoom call with 2 guys and just be an idiot for way too long. And I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for this venue to be able to share. And so I am grateful too. I know I joke a lot that we don't have listeners, but I also know that the listeners we do have, along with some fantastic guests that we've had, a lot of them are also fantastic listeners, and I've been very grateful for all of them. So, I don't know. At this point, I'm rambling. But I guess my last call, probably the too long, didn't read. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And
You're not supposed to respond. It's supposed to be unresponded.
I'm just thanking you for saying your last call and moving the progress of this episode forward.
This is the contentious part that we're talking about. This is the banter that everyone has come to expect. What a lovely way to end this year, and our little journey and talking about this crazy industry and supporting each other, and just realizing that we're not alone, right? Like there are people out there who get a really they look forward to hearing the episodes. It might be a few people, it might be a lot of people. Who cares? We enjoy it, and that's what's important to me.
No, Kevin, I want you to know that you are alone.
No,
just so we're clear.
Wait, I see that beer there. He's not alone.
I'm kind of okay with it. I'm kind of fine.
You spend enough time with kids. Sometimes alone is the best feeling to have.
Kind of okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, as a dad of twins, being alone is maybe the best thing you can feel.
There was a day.
They don't listen. You can say it.
I think it was either Black Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving. The dogs were complete assholes at like 5:30 in the morning. They're like, it was more Nugget. He's like, I need to go out. And I'm like, okay, go fucking let them out. And then try to be like, okay, let's get back in the bed. And Fry's now like amped. He's like biting hands, biting sheets. Like, okay, I'm taking you guys back out to the living room, leave everyone else alone. And then eventually they go back into the bedroom and go back to sleep. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm sipping on coffee. And I'm like, all right, Allie's asleep with the dogs. Both the boys are asleep. Time's going by. I'm just like reading stuff on my phone. Before I know it, it's almost 8 a.m. I'm like, I've been awake for like 2.5 hours now. And I've just had no one bothering me sitting on the couch. Like, this was kind of nice. But anyway, end of the year, I do want to say one other quick thing. This is the season of giving, and we used to do a fundraiser for raising money for Feeding America, and I want to piggyback on that this season. And if you don't, I want to say mostly go to find your local food bank. Go find who they are, donate money, donate food. We are this week going to make a Costco run where we are just going to overbuy and immediately take it to our local food bank. And if you can do something like that with food or monetary donations, do that. Because helping your local community is just prominent. If not, go to Feeding America. Go to these larger charities and donate money to them. And because like shit is still fucking expensive out there. Like they want to say that certain stuff has gone down. Okay, a few cents maybe. Okay, yeah. But shit's fucking hard for a lot of people out there. And if you have the means to fucking help, please help. I know I cursed a lot in that whole ordeal about charity, but it really means a lot. And so please do that. You're not going to hear me talk about our little sponsors here or our store. Go give that money to people in your community who need it, whether that be by monetary donation or food donations.
Or time.
Please do that. Or time, yeah. Or donate time. I've saw so many people around Thanksgiving like donating time at like helping with hot food meals for people. It was fantastic to see. So yeah, like I don't know if you guys want to piggyback and add anything into that, but like that's the way I want to leave this show for this year is please help people who are hungry, because there are a lot of people who are hungry.
Yeah, no, please, like Mike said, share. You know what? Every time you share something that you did because you listened to this podcast, the United We Drink, where you shared some time or resources or money to Feeding America, I will go ahead and give you a virtual high five, and I know that is not worth a lot. I'll re-share on Blue Sky for all 6 of you that are on there. But no, we did used to do this holiday thing, and it's something we'd like to get back in. But the reality is, all three of us have a heart towards making sure that this is a better time for those that are less fortunate. And so I think we all care very deeply about making this season and all year long about thinking of those less fortunate. So please don't just think about this time of year, but know our hearts are there as well.
Well, Mike, you always talk about plugs, like plug something, and that's the thing. If you've got a few dollars to spend and to donate to a food bank or a local charity, whatever it is, and by the way, spending some money at your local brewery could be really impactful for people who are struggling because the industry is struggling. But at the end of the day, these are businesses getting money in the hands of people who are spreading that wealth around, and feeding people and helping people is important every day of the year, not just around the holidays. But this is a time that we can kind of highlight it and talk about it, because usually we're talking about just self-serving things and just being silly and fun and talking about our new beer releases, which we're going to do because we care about them. But right now, don't go to the Barrel of Monks Christmas party. Don't buy a bottle of Father Christmas. Put a few bucks towards a local food bank. That's what it's the time to do that. And we should be thinking about this year round. The Christmas spirit is with us all the time. It should be. And that's what I am. That's what I'm recommending.
Well, to all of you 7 top fans on Spotify out there and all the other listeners of this podcast, thank you everyone for continuing to stick with us every other week. I hope that everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus to the rest of us, Happy New Year. Whatever it is that you decide is the holiday of your choice, I hope that it's a wonderful one. We'll see you in the new year. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Says everyone.
Tiny Tim, everybody.